growing up in New Orleans, I never dreamed I'd have my own show, and I certainly never thought I'd be able to say these words. Please welcome the President of the United States, Barack Obama.
Now, can I just say I was watching some of the dance moves.
Yes, sir.
Backstage.
Yep.
You guys are doing pretty good.
Yep.
I was pretty impressed. I liked it.
Yeah, the gentlemen that were on the floor, I thought followed Twitch very well.
I thought they were going to hurt themselves.
Yeah, yeah. You felt you didn't want to compete with that coming out?
I couldn't. Once I saw that, I said, you know what, they've set the bar too high.
Yeah, you're not going to do it. No. The last time you were here, you were running for president, and now you're leaving. I feel like I have something to do with both. But this is an obvious question, but how do you feel now compared to when you were here before?
Older.
Yes, I knew you'd say that. Tired?
You know, the interesting thing is actually I feel really energetic. The first time I came, you know, there was a lot of possibilities out there, but also uncertainty. And, you know, you're young, you're eager to get started, but you don't necessarily know what you don't know. And now, after having served for 7 years and having gotten a lot done and seen the progress that we've made and seen the incredible resilience of the American people and fighting back from recession and war, in some ways, the fear drops away. You feel confident that America's going to do well. You know the job better. You're more relaxed. And but just as enthusiastic as I was the first day I started.
Do you look at what's going on now in the campaigning, and do you miss it in any way? And do you look at them and go, oh, you're making big mistakes?
I don't miss it. It's always good to get out of Washington, which can sometimes be a little depressing.
To get out of Washington, or to, what part is depressing?
Well, Washington.
Yeah. That's, I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah, no,
but you're kind of not kidding. You're kind of not kidding.
I'm kind of not kidding.
Yeah, I mean, what was the biggest surprise for you? When you became president, what surprised you the most?
Well, the fact is that most of the time, if something reaches my desk, it means it's really hard, which is why they bumped it up to me, because nobody else could figure it out. And you know, when I came in, the economy was collapsing. We were about to go into a Great Depression. We had to make a whole bunch of decisions about saving the auto industry, or making sure that you know, businesses got back on their feet, or the housing market would recover. And you know, you're having to make big bets with incomplete information. You're not sure that everything's going to work. And I think that part of what's happened in this Instagram, you know, Twitter culture is that we expect quick answers without sacrifice, without having to make choices, and politicians play into that. But the truth of the matter is, you know, the world is a big, complicated place. The good news is that we're generally going in the right direction, and my hope is that we'll continue to do so.
That's everybody's hope. But let's talk about me. I feel like, don't you think if more people danced and just had fun instead of, everyone takes everything so seriously, and I think that we have these, you know, people that all, I'm kind of kidding there, obviously, but I think we have people that we all have the one thing in common, which is we just want a good quality of life.
Right.
And then we have these people that feel one way, and if someone feels another way, we tend to hate them. And it's just
That's
really
not helpful.
No, it's not helpful.
The amount of stuff that is just put out there on the internet or on sometimes news broadcasts that are just factually inaccurate is surprising, and it's really hard to catch up. Since I came into office, we reduced the deficit by 2/3. But if you ask the average person, they're sure that spending has shot up. And the reason is because there are a bunch of folks who say that we're wildly overspending, even though we aren't.
Right.
And that's just one small example, but it happens all the time, and that's something that we have to fix, partly by people paying more attention to what's going on every single day. And it's hard. People are busy. They're dropping off their kids. They're, you know, working. They're trying to figure out how they get some exercise, do some push-ups, and
Speaking of her,
Okay.
What do you and Michelle disagree on?
Well,
Like, what do you fight about?
After about 15 years, I finally figured out that she's always right. So then, surprisingly, we just stopped fighting
Then
after
there's
that.
no more fighting. Well, she's a cheater. You know that. When you talk about the push-ups, I'm not gonna argue about it anymore. Yeah. But she's a cheater.
Yeah.
Look how far down I went,
You're still upset about that.
I am because she didn't go down all the way, and she claimed she had longer arms, and so listen, it was very impressive that she kept going, but she didn't go down as far as me. Look at her.
Okay.
Look.
She's going down pretty far.
No, not as far down as me. Look.
I mean, those are good. You have good form.
I have better form than her, and I.
You have good form.
All right, listen. We do have to go to break, but before we go to break, we have had a little bit of fun with you over the years, and I want to.
I've noticed. I've heard about this.
I don't know if you. I hope you watch every day. I don't know if you watch every day, but I know you.
You're right. When I'm in the Situation Room and we're talking about our counterterrorism strategy, occasionally we say, you know what, we got a break for Ellen.
Right.
We'll come back. We'll pick it up on the other end.
That's why I like you so much. All right. We're back with the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama. So what will you miss about being in the White House, being president? What is the one thing that you're thinking, oh, this is going to suck?
Well, Air Force One's really nice.
Now, I've just seen House of Cards. Is it like the plane on House of Cards?
It's better.
Is it? That's a good-looking plane.
It's a nice plane.
Yeah.
And then Marine One, you helicopter around. You land after you land the plane, then you just get in the helicopter. It's a pretty good deal.
So you don't get to do any of those anymore?
No. I was told a while back that I had just flown 1 million miles on Air Force One. And I asked, is there a frequent flyer plan? Which makes sense. Ex-president, I mean, I understand there'd be blackout dates.
Right.
But if the new person wasn't using it.
Exactly. It's just sitting there.
It's just sitting there.
Yeah.
That's my point.
So you'll fly commercial from now on?
No.
But I mean, that is something to miss.
I don't miss flying commercial.
Yeah.
Taking your shoes off and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's stinky. Not yours. Not yours. When other people.
I wear clean socks.
No,
I don't know about you.
No. When other people take their shoes off on a plane.
Maybe other people.
It's
Maybe
just
that's
rude.
true.
No, I didn't in any way insinuate you have stinky feet.
That's my point.
If you want to prove to me and take your shoes off right now. All right.
Oh, no, we're not going there.
All right. There's like a barber shop and everything in the White House?
Yeah. I get my hair cut. It's all self-contained. And the great thing is that you don't have to go anywhere to get stuff done. You don't have to run to the dry cleaners. You don't have to shop for food. The bad part about it is that it's a bubble, and you don't leave.
Yeah.
Or if you do, then the bubble follows you everywhere, and that's something you never get used to. And what it also means is you're not having sort of the spontaneous interactions with people that you do on a Saturday morning. You put on some sweats, you don't shave, you go to the Starbucks and you run into somebody, you have a nice conversation. That kind of stuff, or just taking a walk, which is the thing that probably I miss most about being president, is just take a nice walk on a nice day.
Can you drive?
I know how to drive, yes.
But will you be able to drive?
Well, I'll continue to have Secret Service, but
Can they be in the back seat?
That's my point. We're going to negotiate.
Okay.
On a nice day, if you got a convertible.
I know.
Yeah.
You'd
maybe they can just tail me.
Yeah.
That's my hope.
Yeah, run. They can run right behind you. All right, we have to take another break. We'll be back.
All right.
We are back with President Barack Obama, and I mentioned it in the monologue, but I cannot tell you or thank you enough for what you have done for the gay community. So thank you.
It's one of the things I'm proudest of, because my whole political career has been based on the idea that we constantly want to include people and not exclude them. How do we bring more and more people into opportunity and success and feeling hopeful about their lives? And but I will say, we were driving over here today, and I meant this. I said it to my staff. I said, as much as we've done with laws and ending Don't Ask, Don't Tell, et cetera, changing hearts and minds, I don't think anybody's been more influential than you on that. I really mean that. That's true. That's true. And so your courage, and you're just really likable. And so as soon as you being willing to claim who you were, then suddenly empowers other people, and then suddenly it's your brother, it's your uncle, it's your best friend, it's your coworkers, and then attitudes shift, and the laws followed, but it started with folks like you. I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That's
It's true.
really sweet. Thank
That's
you.
true.
I'm not really gay.
But you, on TV,
I know.
you play one,
I
and
just
it was
thought
great.
it would work, and I've had to stick with it because people responded well.
Sort of like the dancing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You just gotta kind of keep on going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back to you. Malia is going off to college, and that's got to be...
It's hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's got to be...
Look, as Michelle reminds me, our job is to prepare them not to need us. And both my daughters are wonderful people, and Malia is more than ready to leave. But I'm not ready for her to leave. And yeah, I was asked if I would speak at her graduation. I said, absolutely not. Because I'm going to be sitting there with dark glasses, sobbing. Yeah, she's one of my best friends. And it's going to be hard for me not to have her around all the time. But she's ready to go. You can tell she's just a really smart, capable person, and she's ready to make her own way. And they're wonderful. They're wonderful girls. And Michelle gets all the credit, maybe an assist from my mother-in-law, but they really are just solid kids. They don't have an attitude. They're courteous and kind to everybody. They work hard. They don't feel like they're entitled to anything.
Well, they have great parents.
Yeah.
Both you and Michelle are really, really amazing. Michelle is such a strong, wonderful role model for all women, and she has been a great first lady.
I
She's
agree.
been
That I
amazing.
agree with.
All right, we have to take another break.
That is indisputable.
Yep. And you have been a great president, and like you said, people can say things over and over and over again about unemployment or the economy or anything else they can, but if you listen to that, you're going to believe it. If you look at and look into it and see what the facts are, it's just not the truth.
We're better off now than we were when I came in.
You've done
no
an
doubt.
amazing job. We'll be back. We're back with President Barack Obama. So I heard that you carry a charm or something in your on your
I have
person.
a bunch of charms that
People
I put
give
in
you
my pocket.
things.
Yeah, they give me things this dates back to the campaign trail. They'd hand you stuff, and I started getting this big collection of little charms, crosses or lucky coins or.
And you keep a different one in?
Yeah, I'll just put a bunch in my pocket.
I have something to give you.
You
then.
do? Okay, what do you got? Let's see.
It's a charm, and it's my picture and your picture.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
That's for you.
I will treasure
Okay.
this. This is so sweet.
Yep, so that's for you
Thank
to keep
you.
at all times.
I will.
All right.
Okay.
And then I have a surprise for you, because
You
it's
do.
Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah.
So we have a surprise for you. Take a look.
Surprise! Hi, honey, and hi, Barack. I just wanted to wish you a happy Valentine's Day. It's our last one that we'll spend in the White House, and in honor of that, I wrote you a little Valentine's Day poem that I wanted to share. Roses are red, violets are blue. You are the president, and I am your boo. I wrote that while I was doing 100 push-ups this morning. You know, it gets the creative juices flowing. You should try it, Ellen. No, really. You're the only person I'd share my husband with on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to you and Portia, and happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And Barack, I know there's a See's candy out there, so bring me something chocolatey back. You know what you need to do. Love to you both. Bye-bye.
That's so sweet.
Isn't that sweet?
That was very sweet.
Yes.
That was very sweet.
Yes. So I thought I would help you out because you didn't know she was going to do that.
didn't.
So I set up a little setting.
I've got something prepared.
Wow. All right. Well,
Yeah.
then I have a setting
I was
for
going to
you.
deliver it to her in person, but we can do it on the set.
All right.
Come on.
All right.
Come on.
All right. So you'll stand there.
So I'm going to stand here with
I'm
the
gonna-
rose petals. and
I'm going
everything.
to set the mood.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Is this good?
Yep.
All right. Somebody call the Situation Room because things are about to get hot. Michelle, this Valentine's Day, I'm going to treat you right. I'm going to make you some zucchini bread. Then I'll spread out some veggies on a plate, just the way you like them. Then I'm going to give you a massage while you watch Ellen's Design Challenge on HGTV. Because I love you so much, I Obama care about you more than you even know. That's right, Obama cares. But, Michelle, I've made a lot of great decisions as president. The best decision I ever made was choosing you. Thanks for putting up with me. I love you. And Ellen, happy Valentine's Day. We'll be right back.
In just 3 short weeks, our first guest may very well be the first female president of the United States. Please welcome Secretary Hillary Clinton.
Hello, hello.
Woo!
Woo!
Does everyone do that to you now?
Yeah, I like
Woo!
it. I didn't even know I was doing it, so.
Wait, you must have known at the time that came out of you.
I didn't. I
Really?
knew that I said, woo, I do that, but I didn't know I did the little shimmy to go along with it. And then afterwards I saw it, and now people are always saying to me, do the shimmy, you know?
Portia,
You had some great dancing going on out
yeah,
there.
we do. We have some good dancers.
Good dancing.
You know, because sometimes you just don't even have a response to that, right? I mean, Portia and I were watching it at home, and when you did that woo and the shimmy, we were like, oh my God, that was fantastic. It was the best response. And you look fantastic. I just said, you look so good. You were supposed to be here a few weeks ago, and
was.
you canceled because you had pneumonia.
I did.
You feel good now?
Feel great.
Yeah, you
Absolutely
look great.
Yeah.
You look
But
healthy.
my advice is, if you have pneumonia, stop for a while. That's
Yeah.
my advice.
Yeah, you pushed through it.
Yeah, I
didn't you?
did. I tried to.
Yeah. Because on the one hand, you know, Donald Trump said that you don't have stamina to be president, and then the one thing that he complimented you on is you never give up and you're a fighter. So which is it?
Well, I kind of think that was the only thing he said that I agreed with.
That you're a fighter.
Yeah, and that I don't quit.
Yeah.
And you just, you know, if you believe in what you're doing and you think you can make a difference, you get up every day and do your best.
Yeah, you stayed so calm. Let's talk about the debate, because this is the first interview you've done since the debate. And what did you make of that?
Well, I had several reactions. First, it was clear that my opponent, Donald Trump, was going to try to you know, dominate the space almost to the exclusion of the people who were sitting there. I mean, they were sitting there so that we could talk to them, and that they could ask questions, we would then answer. And because of the revelation of the public video and everything that came out on Access Hollywood, you know, he was really all wrought up, and you could just sense how much anger he had. And so he was really trying to dominate and then literally stalk me around the stage. And I would just feel this presence behind me. And I thought, whoa, this is really weird.
Yeah.
And so I was just trying to stay focused, trying to keep my composure, trying to interact with the moderators, but really for me, more with the people there, and deal with the string of accusations that he was putting forth. And it's frustrating. I mean, look, I feel such a sense of obligation to people that, you know, I work at trying to make sure what I'm saying is appropriate, is accurate, conveying that to people. Everybody makes mistakes, don't get me wrong. I obviously have made more than my share. But to run against somebody and debate somebody who is consistently just spewing forth falsehoods, and when you catch him, when you say, no, wait a minute, you said this, you actually were on the record on this. No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. And just hopes, I guess, that people will forget it. So you could spend all of your time, and I had to think hard about this before the first debate. I literally could have spent all my time saying, no, you told interviewer X and you said on Y, but I thought, no, I'm going to tell people to go to my website, HillaryClinton.com, look at the evidence we have, and I'm going to keep trying to talk about what this election should be about, which is people's lives and our country and what we're going to do to help each other.
Yeah. It's debating like a teenager.
It's hard.
It really is.
It is hard.
It's like debating a teenager, because it is whatever, he just says things, and it's just like, you know, and then interrupts, makes me smarter. Like, you just, what? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, well, that was a particular interruption that I found kind of surprising, because that was when I said, you know, you won't release your tax returns, and there must be something really terrible you don't want people to know. And a couple of options came to mind, but I said, it appears from the little we do know that you haven't paid any federal income tax for many years. And he said, well, it makes me smarter. And I felt like then it makes all the rest of us, including us, really stupid, because we do our part. And people who are particularly successful should do their fair share.
Yeah.
That just seems to me what we should expect. So the economy works for everybody, not just those at the top.
Yeah, I'm successful, and I'm very grateful to have a good income, and I pay my fair share. I don't know about this loophole. I don't know anything about it, and I'm looking into it, but but I just feel like, here's what I feel. I feel like, let's just say he does get elected. He's not going to change that loophole for the richest people, right? It doesn't even make sense.
Well, it doesn't, and if you really look at what he's proposed, he wants, and this is hard to believe, he wants to cut taxes even more for people like him. And what I have said is that we haven't gotten enough what we need from the very wealthy. I'm not going to raise taxes on middle-class families, period. I'm not going to do it, because I don't think that's fair, because most of the gains have gone to the wealthy. So it's time that the wealthy actually, you know, contributed more to making this country as great as we are. So I'm going to be pushing hard for that.
Great, except for me, though, right?
No, you too.
Darn
You
it.
too.
Darn it. All right, we have to take a break, and we're going to talk about a bunch more after this. We'll be back. We're back with Secretary Hillary Clinton, and I think as we sit here today, it seems that Donald Trump's campaign is crumbling with these new. This morning, there were allegations of sexual assault from a few more women, which he is denying. But it does seem like with the Republicans, you know, the party is just kind of, everyone's backing away, and it does seem like it's crumbling.
Well, obviously, there's a lot that is coming out, which is distressing on many levels. But I don't want anybody to think this election's over, because it's been so unpredictable up till now that I'm not taking anything for granted. We've got to work really hard for the next 3.5 weeks, because who knows? Who knows what can happen? And, So everybody who's watching and everybody who has followed this election, please turn out and vote.
It is the most important election that we have ever had, I think.
It's very important.
All right. Michelle Obama gave a speech, and I want to show you and then get your reaction.
And I can't believe that I'm saying that a candidate for president of the United States has bragged about sexually assaulting women. I can't stop thinking about this. It has shaken me to my core in a way that I couldn't have predicted.
So, I mean, she's very emotional about it, which, I mean, it's disturbing.
It is.
So,
well, the speech that she gave, I think, put into words what so many people are feeling, and not just women and girls, men and boys. And another part of her speech, she said, "This is not the way the men in my house talk." And that's what I've been hearing from men for the last several days. People are saying, wait a minute. A lot of athletes have actually come forward and said, that is not what we talk about in the locker room, because nobody wants to be associated with this kind of really violent and hateful language. And it's not just what Trump has said about women, as terrible as that has been. What he has said about immigrants and African Americans and Latinos and people with disabilities and POWs and our military and Muslims and everybody. He has been so insulting and derogatory. And I celebrate our diversity. I mean, I'm proud of so many things about our country, but one is clearly that we lift each other up, we don't put each other down. We show respect for each other. And that's what I want to try to ask people to do in these closing days of this campaign. You know, let's show some kindness and respect toward each other, and let's really repudiate the meanness, the divisiveness, the bigotry, the bullying we've seen from the other side. And if we do, then after this election, let's come together and try to heal all of the divides that unfortunately are between us right now.
that is one of the things I love. I mean, I love, when I look out, and I do this show every single day, and we have people from all over the country, all over the world that come here. And every ethnicity, it's very diverse, Republicans, Democrats, everything, and that's what I like.
Yep.
This is not a Republican-Democrat election year. This is not about that. Because I have a lot of friends who are Republicans who are not going to vote for Donald Trump because of the kind of behavior. We don't want a leader that exhibits behavior like that.
Well, you know, this is what so many Republicans and independents are telling me too, Ellen. They are publicly and privately announcing they cannot support him. Many of them are saying that they are going to vote for me. You know, I have said very clearly, look, I want to be the president for everybody. Democrats, Republicans, independents. I want to be the president for people who don't vote for me as well as people who do vote for me. I think we need to come together as a country, and that's what I'm going to put as one of my highest priorities, because I just can't bear the divisiveness that we've seen.
Yeah.
And yes, we can have disagreements. We will have disagreements, but let's disagree in a respectful way, and then let's roll up our sleeves and try to get things done for ourselves and our country.
Yep, that's what we need to do. We'll take a break. More with Secretary Clinton after this. Listen, before I say goodbye to you, it is your 69th birthday in a few weeks.
It is.
And I can imagine, but tell me what you wish for your birthday.
Well, I have several wishes. One of them obviously includes the election, but I really wish that I will be the president that our country needs right now. That's my deepest hope and wish.
You are.
And you know, you're right, it is my birthday, and just think of it this way, I will be the youngest woman ever elected president of the United States.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
That's right, that's right.
I cannot wait. I have high hopes, and I trust in the good people of this country to make the right decision. After you are elected president, come back and see us.
I will.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back. Our first guest is the 43rd President of the United States. His new book is called Portraits of Courage. Please welcome President George W. Bush. It's a little bit of dancing. It wasn't committed to it fully, but it was a little bit of dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sober.
Yeah. It's hard to dance sober. It really is. All of these people drunk. I'm so excited to have you here. Are you as excited as I am to be here?
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
No, I am. People don't know this, but my daughter Jenna and you are good buddies.
Yes, we are.
And so my attitude is, if you're a good buddy of Jenna, you're a good buddy of mine.
She's a lovely girl. Your whole family. Your whole family. Yeah, she was on the show, and we called you, and you answered the phone. You actually picked up and talked to us while she was on the
Yeah,
on the
and I
show.
was actually the president.
Yeah, I know.
In the treaty room in the White House.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We were very excited that you picked up.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I love your whole family, your dad and your mom, and I know were both in the hospital recently, but then they were at the Super Bowl, so I was happy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're good.
Yeah. I'm the only president with both parents alive after the presidency,
Really?
which is a huge blessing.
Yeah, it is.
It is. And so, actually, I'm the only one of two presidents with both parents alive during the presidency.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
See how you learn things and I learn things together. We teach each other.
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yeah. Teach me how to dance, please.
I'm not the one to do that. That's Twitch. But really, I do love them very much. But you have, when you left office, and you've pretty much stayed out of politics. You kind of went and lived your life, which is great, I'm sure, and more relaxing. But I have to ask you what you think of what's going on now.
Well, I think this isn't the first time our nation's ever been divided. I remember what it was like when I got out of college. There was a Vietnam War and a draft. There were major race riots. There was political assassinations. The president was nearly impeached. And a lot of people thought the country was going down the tubes. And it turns out we're too strong to go down the tubes. And so I'm very optimistic.
Good.
But yeah, I'm out of politics. You know, my whole view is I don't think it serves the nation or the office of president to have a former president criticize his successors. And so I'm happy to be off the stage, except this one.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for being on this stage. So this is a concern, though, for me. I'll bring it up, and this is not political. This is really something that I think is important. Obviously, the media was not, great to you. They're not great to most presidents. The media is tough.
You expect them to be tough.
But Trump is raging an outright just war against all press and not allowing press to do their job, which I think is a very dangerous thing.
Well, here, I said something the other day, and of course the headlines were Bush criticizes Trump. Here's what I believed when I was president, post-president. The nation needs a free and independent press. And the reason why is that power can be very corrupting. And we need a press corps to hold politicians to account, including me. And yeah, I didn't like it sometimes when people said things that, about me, but that's the job. I always viewed I'm going to drop a big word on you. Symbiotic relationship.
Ooh.
Yeah.
4 syllables.
Yeah. Don't ask me to spell it.
All right.
And that is, I needed the press to get the message out, and they needed me to make news. And so, yeah.
But it's very important. I mean, I
Yes,
think
it is very important.
we need to hear from everybody, and then it's up to us to figure out,
So I used to tell, a lot of these tyrants when I would visit with them as president, that they needed to have a free press. And I would point to our country as an example where, power doesn't make you immune to criticism. Or to corruption investigations. And so, I'm a big believer in the free press, just like I'm a big believer in free religion. You can worship or not worship, and you're equally American.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you worship or who you worship.
When you say tyrants, were you speaking of Putin? Because you had a relationship with Putin, and Trump has a relationship with Putin, but I believe it's different.
Yeah, well, so I introduced Putin to Barney. You remember Barney, the little Scottish Terrier?
Yes.
The little guy
Yes.
had legs, and he kind of dissed him. He looked at him like, you think that's a dog? Anyway, so a year later, Putin says, would you like to meet my dog? Laura and I were with Putin in his dacha outside of Moscow. I said, yeah, I'd like to meet him. And out comes a giant hound, kind of loping across the birch line yard. And Putin looks at me and says, bigger, stronger, and faster than Barney. And, you know, it speaks volumes when you listen to what somebody says. And so, in other words, he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Yep. Yep.
And so, yeah, I had a contentious relationship with him. And I think whoever the president is going to find out that Putin will push and push and push until somebody stands up to him.
Yeah. So Trump should get a hound.
Not bad.
All right.
Pretty darn quick.
We're gonna take a break, and we're gonna talk more with President Bush, and we're gonna talk about this amazing book that you have.
Thank you.
We'll be back.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that the first time?
Yeah. It's
First time putting a
It looks
poncho on.
like it, that's for sure.
And all you do is this end up. We're back with President George W. Bush. And looking back on having some perspective being out of the office, how would you rate your presidency?
You know, it doesn't matter. I think that ultimately an objective historian...
That was the most hilarious timing. That was just...
I did what I gave it my best shot. And if people are genuinely interested in why I did what I did, they ought to read the book I wrote called Decision Points. But I don't really worry about history. I mean, I know I gave it my all,
yeah.
and I'm very comfortable.
And how do you think Obama did as president?
Eventually, he'll be judged just like I'll be judged. In other words, I'm not going to tell you.
All right. But you're good friends with Michelle.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. She and I have you know, I'm kind of a needler, and she handles it pretty well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was at the opening of the African American Museum in Washington.
Yeah.
It's great, really.
Yeah.
It's worth seeing.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get a chance. I was there for one day, and I'm dying to go see it.
You ought to. It's good.
I hear it's amazing. The building is beautiful. The architecture is beautiful.
Really interesting.
But yes, she is an amazing woman. I love her so much. I feel the same way about her. She's a great person. So you went to the...
That surprised everybody. That's what's so weird about society today, you know, that
well...
people on opposite sides of the political spectrum could actually like each other.
But are you that close? You're closer to her than Barack?
Well, let's put it this way. He's never given me a hug that way.
Yeah. That's true. So it's all about the hug. I see.
Generally.
That's
yeah.
right. That's, so you went to the inauguration, which was the right thing to do, but it must have been tough because your brother Jeb was pretty
Not really.
harshly
you know,
judged.
Jeb gave it his best shot. Not
Right.
really. I tell you, it's a beautiful experience to watch the peaceful transfer of power. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad I went.
You had a little bit of problem. The poncho was a problem. It seemed. Had you put a poncho? Had you put one on? Is that the first time?
Yeah. It's
First time putting a poncho on.
It looks like it, that's for sure.
I feel like... I feel like it runs in the family. It really must run in the family because your mom had an issue with the poncho also.
It's genetics.
Yeah. All right. I want to make sure that doesn't happen again. So, hey, Zener, will you bring out the gift? There's a... All right. What you do... Here. And all you do is this end up. And you can put it on. Yeah. All right. All right. We'll talk about the book after this. After President George W. Bush. I'm waiting for you to paint me. I want you to paint me.
I told you I was looking in those eyes.
All right.
Beautiful blue.
All right. Well, I'm waiting for my portrait. Let's talk about this amazing book. You really are a great painter. And Portraits of Courage. Tell everyone what this is.
I've gotten to know a bunch of warriors since the presidency, and ride mountain bikes with them or play golf with them. And I decided to paint 98 portraits because I wanted to tell their stories. Our veterans are a unique asset for our country, and we need to not only honor them, but to the extent they want help them transition from the military to civilian life. And this book calls attention to what works and what doesn't work, for example, in dealing with post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury.
And all the proceeds go
to the Bush Center. Thank you. The Bush Center,
yeah,
in Dallas, Texas, all for our vets program.
We have some of the vets in the audience with us today. Thank you very much for your service. Thanks for everything.
Yeah, we got Jake and Danny. These are guys I know. They're friends. I painted them. That's Danny.
It's Danny.
See, a little nervous when I showed Danny his painting because it's a little impressionistic, and he politely said, "God, that's great."
So when did you start painting? How long ago? 5
years.
Really?
Yeah,
recently?
I was agnostic on art, and got a little bored, and I read Winston Churchill's essay, Painting as a Pastime. I said, hell, I'm going to paint.
He was good.
Yeah, he was good.
He was really good.
Really good. And so I hired an instructor, and the art community wasn't exactly my base of support when I ran for office. And so the instructor was slightly nervous. She said, "You're objective." I said, "There's a Rembrandt trapped in this body, and your job is to find him." And so I started painting. I paint all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Every day?
Yeah.
I mean, they really are. You're really talented. I can't believe you just started 5 years ago.
I painted, these are painted with a lot of passion. I cannot tell you how much I admire these men and women in this book.
Well, the book is fantastic, and like we said, the proceeds go to the foundation, which helps the vets. I learned that you just got a puppy. You rescued a puppy recently.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know this, but I have a line of pet supplies and pet toys and
awesome.
things like this.
Oh, that's big.
So I want to give you, it's Freddie, right?
Freddie.
All right, and I have toys for Freddie. I have a bed for Freddie. So all of this is going home with you, all right?
I knew there was a reason why I came.
Yeah, it's free
Freddie.
stuff.
Yeah, free stuff. Yeah, baby.
Yeah. All right, Portraits of Courage is in bookstores now. We'll be right back. Our next guest made history when she was elected as California's first African-American senator. She's also the first Indian-American to ever be elected to Senate, and there are many who would like to see her become the first female president of the United States. Please welcome Senator Kamala Harris. You danced!
I love to dance.
You did it, really? Do you?
I love to dance. Well, I think we always have to find time to sing, to dance, to laugh.
To play.
To play,
We get
to
so serious
hum.
when we grow up.
We do. I mean, I told you, I just think that, in between whatever we need to do to shout or fight or march, let's also find time to sing or dance, hum, laugh.
Yep. That's
All
why
of that.
people come here.
Right? And that's what you do. You do that so well, Ellen. You do that so well, where you find always the joy and you make people remember the joy in between everything that we should also have in terms of eyes wide open about everything.
Yeah.
But some balance between realism, seeing it for what it is, and optimism.
Yeah, you gotta, like, I talked to you, we ran into each other at a restaurant. We literally ran into, I was sitting in my chair, our chairs were like up against each other, and that's when we met, and we talked for a while that day, and I said, please come on the show. I would love for, you to have this platform to talk to people about what you're doing. And I asked you about the negativity then. I said, how are you dealing with, like, what's going on in the world? Because I was sitting with some other women who were just really angry and saying, what do we do about all this? And you said,
we have to be joyful warriors. I decided at the end of last year, there was so much that was just creating anxiety and depression and anger. And I was like, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I don't like that feeling. I don't think any of us do. And let's just go into 2018 and be joyful warriors.
I like that term,
right?
joyful warriors. Yeah. And because, as you said, we can't just be against something. We have to be for something.
That's exactly right. And in all of what we're seeing, I mean, these kids that are just marching, I mean, you know, the Stoneman Douglas kids, at the Women's March, you know, there's so many things that are happening right now where people are taking to the streets. And we have to remember, it's not about fighting against something, it's about fighting for something. And it is fighting with a spirit of love of country. And that's really important to remember.
Yeah.
We love our country. And part of being a patriot, love of country, is about fighting for the ideals of our country, fighting for the best of who we are. We are a great people. We are a great country. And it is part of loving our country to say, you know what? I believe those words we spoke in 1776, that we are all equal and should be treated that way.
Yep.
I believe those
Yep.
words. I believe those words. And I will march and I will fight to make those words true. And I will do that joyfully.
Yes, and you will do it joyfully. And because both of your parents are immigrants,
Yeah.
your father is from
Jamaica.
Jamaica and your mother was from
India.
India.
Yeah.
And I mean, and so with everything that's going on, you were elected at the same time as Trump was elected.
Yes.
Okay, so you get elected as senator, Trump is elected as president,
Yeah.
and in all that time of everything that's going, especially with parents who are immigrants, what is the most surprising thing that has happened to you?
Well, I mean, there's a lot, and there are those moments like when this administration arbitrarily made a decision to rescind protection to those dreamers that are protected by DACA. That was one of the lowest lights in terms of what had happened.
Yep.
You know, these kids who are serving in our military, they're in colleges and universities, they're working in Fortune 100 companies, and they are playing by the rules. They were vetted to see if they've committed any crimes, if they're living a productive life, and if they were living life the way that we want them to, we said, we'll give them protection, and then arbitrarily we took that protection away.
Yeah. That is appalling to me.
It is.
It really,
is.
it makes me so sad, and we need to fight for them to be protected.
And so on the topic of those dreamers, I'll tell you then a highlight of the experience that I've had as a United States Senator. Walking the halls of the United States Congress and seeing thousands of dreamers who have been traveling to our nation's capital by bus, by train, by car. God only knows how they're affording to get there. I am certain that they are sleeping 10 deep on someone's living room floor while they're there. And they are there every day, walking the halls, truly believing that if the members of the United States Congress see them and hear their stories, that we'll do the right thing. These kids believe in our democracy. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So we have to do right by them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But I see them, like I see so many of these other kids, as being our future. And so I say our future is bright because they do believe in our democracy. They do believe if they are heard and seen that it will matter and that people will listen.
Yeah. And I think that these kids that are, you know, the march that just happened in Washington, they will make a difference, don't you? I mean, first of all, they're going to be eligible to vote soon, and they can make changes if they're not happy with what's going on. But have you always wanted to be a politician?
You know, my parents met when they were active in the civil rights movement in the 60s. And, you know, my sister and I, we joked that we grew up surrounded by a bunch of adults who spent full time marching and shouting about this thing called justice, right? And we were raised with an understanding, it wasn't even really a discussion, that you will serve. You will serve interests other than your own, in whatever capacity. And that's why I decided to run for office. I ran to become DA of San Francisco. I challenged an incumbent. I was the first woman elected district attorney of San Francisco. And then I went on and I was elected the first woman attorney general of California, and now I'm a United States Senator.
Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to find out if you're going to run for president. We'll be right back.
Good.
All right, we're back with California Senator Kamala Harris. And really, it's been happening for a while where people have put it out there that you might be running for president or that they want you to run for president.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to answer me, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
You're right.
But
on both counts.
You won't answer.
I'm not going to answer.
No. What then?
But here's
let me see what your answer is, though. Will you run for president?
Okay, let me tell you that. Right.
What's your answer?
So here's my answer. Right now, we are in the early months of 2018. And at this very moment in time, there are people across America who have priorities around their health care, have priorities around can they get through the end of the month and pay the bills, pay off their student loans, can they afford to pay for gas, housing, critical issues. These DACA kids, when we talk about where they are in terms of immigration, there are so many pressing issues, right? Guns. We've got to pass an assault weapons ban. We need to have universal background checks. These are immediate needs, and these are the things I'm focused on right now. I've seen so many people, Ellen, focus on that thing out there and then trip over this thing here.
Right.
I don't want to trip.
Okay.
There's so much that's important right now.
Who would be your vice president?
You got any plans?
I'm busy. All right. We're going to vet you right now just in case. We need to know lots about you. Because people are going to want to know more about Kamala Harris. Because we know what you stand for, and I love all the things you stand for. But who was your first celebrity crush?
Okay, I'm going to tell you,
Honestly.
and I'm going to date myself, honestly. Tito Jackson.
Tito.
Because, okay, the Jackson 5. Okay, so I have a sister and I have lots of cousins, and everyone picked a Jackson 5, and all that was left was Tito.
Wow. All right.
It's still like they got Michael, they got Marlon.
Wow.
I got Tito.
Well, all right. Poor Tito. He's just...
No, but I love Tito.
Yeah,
He
obviously.
truly ended up being my first celebrity crush.
All right. All right. I've been a senator, complete this. I've been a senator for over a year now, and I still don't understand blank.
I still don't understand how in Washington, D.C., there's 1 inch of snow and the whole town shuts down. I don't understand that.
Yes. That's a good thing to not understand. What's the most rebellious thing you did as a teenager?
Oh, you are going to vet me.
Yeah. It's going to come out, so you might as well tell it here.
I broke curfew. I was a loiterer. I actually had a loitering problem when I was in high school. I really did.
Where did you loiter?
I would loiter the halls, and the principal would say, Kamala, you're out here again. And I'd say, yes, Mr. Klim, I'm out again. And he'd say, come on, let's sit down and talk. How's it going? And I'd say, I'm bored. He'd say, why don't you go back to class? And then I'd go back to class.
God, you were bad.
I was awful.
You were really bad. If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
You can't sleep in the middle of the night. What do you do?
Oh, I get up. I will read cookbooks. This happened recently. Yeah, I love cooking.
You just
and
read cookbooks?
I read recipes. I like recipes.
All right.
If I'm not cooking.
Especially if you're not cooking.
Yeah.
What's a nickname that your husband calls you?
Honey, babe.
The regular.
Yeah.
What's a nickname your Republican colleagues call you?
I have no idea.
All right. All right. Let's see. Do you have any tattoos?
No.
If you were going to get a tattoo, what would it be and where would it go?
If I were to get a tattoo, maybe, I don't know, if I were going to be self-indulgent, it would be a lotus flower, because that's what my name means. And maybe on my wrist.
Okay. And are you running for president, yes or no?
Next question.
All right. Tito, come on out. All right, Kamala Harris, Senator Kamala Harris, everybody. Possibly your next president of the United States. We'll be right back. Our next guest is running in one of the most talked about Senate races in the country. He became a viral sensation after answering a question about NFL players' right to protest during the national anthem. Here's what he said.
The question is, how do you feel about NFL players who take a knee during the national anthem? And is it disrespectful to this country, to the flag? My short answer is no. I don't think it's disrespectful. Here's my longer answer, but I'm gonna try to make sure that I get this right, because I think it's a really important question. And reasonable people can disagree on this issue. Let's begin there. And it makes them no less American to come down on a different conclusion on this issue, right? You can feel as a young man does, you can feel as I do, you're every bit as American, all the same. Peaceful, nonviolent protests, including taking a knee at a football game to point out that black men, unarmed, black teenagers, unarmed, and black children, unarmed, are being killed at a frightening level right now, including by members of law enforcement, without accountability and without justice. And this problem, as grave as it is not gonna fix itself. And so nonviolently, peacefully, while the eyes of this country are watching these games, they take a knee to bring our attention and our focus to this problem to ensure that we fix it. That is why they are doing it, and I can think of nothing more American than to peacefully stand up or take a knee for your rights anytime, anywhere, any place.
Please welcome Congressman Beto O'Rourke. So thank you for being here. I saw this, I was, I think in Seattle, somebody showed me a week ago, and now it's up to 44 million views. So it has really gone viral. A lot of people have seen this, and I'm so glad that they have. So I saw it, I tweeted it, and I wanted to meet you right away. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it was amazing because it almost seemed like you set that up, like that guy was a plant, because your answer was so eloquent, and you just to answer that and then to go on and say everything you said was just beautiful.
We've visited every single one of the 254 counties of Texas, and then this question comes up about kneeling at these NFL games to call attention to the deaths and the shootings of unarmed black men in this country. And so I just gave the answer that was on my mind. Had never been asked the question before, tried to be honest, and that's what came out. And I hope, if nothing else, we're able to give the people of Texas our honesty and have the courage of our convictions on the issues that matter most.
I thought it was a brilliant answer. I thought everything that you said was amazing, but then I also heard that a lot of people were very angry about it.
Yeah, some people are upset, and I tried to say at the outset of the answer, listen, you can come to a different conclusion on this. It doesn't make you any less American. There's a guy that I absolutely adore, an all-time hero of mine, Vietnam-era veteran, Bobby Rangel in El Paso, Texas. And he got in touch with me afterwards. He said, Beto, I've worked with you on the VA. We've turned it around in El Paso. You've been a leader on expanding mental health care for veterans in this country. But that answer really disappointed me. And that hurt me to hear that. And yet it's important for me to hear that. And Bobby and I are going to be friends, and we're going to be okay, and this country's going to be okay. But it's hard to think of a major or important or significant change that we've made as a country that wasn't painful, that didn't require these difficult conversations, these unguarded moments with one another that ultimately produce change and progress in the right direction. And so I hope in some small way we've contributed to that in the conversation that we've had that's been shared now, and also in this campaign that we're running, not against anyone, not against a political party, but for this country at this moment of truth. This moment will define us, I feel, for forever. That's what for me is so thrilling about this moment. We will decide the future right now, and 2 months to go until the 6th of November when we decide.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It's very important. Yeah. I mean, so I said I saw what you said that, and someone showed it to me, and I was like, I tweeted out, I want to meet you, and you're here. Thank you so much for being here. And then I heard that you kind of got attacked for coming here.
Yeah, I mean, try to make anyone happy as you run for office or serve in public office. You can't do it, but if you don't mind me saying, to me, you embody so much of what the country needs right now. You are kindness, you are joy, you're meeting difficulty and disappointment with a power and joy of connecting with people and bringing the best out of people. And so if there's a way that we can connect with what you are doing, with the viewers who watch this show, if I can make my wife, Amy, who's here, even happier right there, then I'm gonna do it. And you were very kind to have us on. And, I think that's what the country needs right now, the ability to have conversations about the things that we're excited for, the things we want to do. Not so much the things that we're afraid of, not the smallness or the littleness or the paranoia of the moment, the bigness. And I feel that with you. So thank you for having me on.
I think that you're a brilliant man. I just want to hear. So the president seems to tweet a lot. He tweeted about you, and he said that he was going to come to Texas and he was going to campaign for Ted Cruz, which I found interesting because I thought he didn't like him. So he's going to campaign for Ted Cruz, and he tweeted out, I'm picking the biggest stadium in Texas we can find, and his opponent, you, is a disaster for Texas. He's weak on Second Amendment, crime, borders, military, and vets. So I want to give you a chance to respond to that.
Well, first of all, we welcome the president to Texas, and we are glad that he's coming. Texas is the most diverse state in the country. It's the defining immigrant story and experience. We should, Republicans and Democrats together, be able to lead the way, not only to stop taking kids from parents, not only to free dreamers from the fear of deportation and make them U.S. citizens on that same day, but to lead in a bold, ambitious way that makes the most out of all of us, including those who choose to be here. So, thank you.
We'll take a break. More with Beto after this. We're back with Congressman Beto O'Rourke, and when you're in politics, they dig up every single thing they can on you, and so you have to know that things are going to come out. And recently, they already knew that you had a DUI 20 years ago. You were 26?
I was 26.
26.
Just turned 26.
So you had a DUI, and then recently now there are new details, and I just want you to be able to talk about that.
Yeah. 20 years ago, I drove drunk. A terrible mistake. There's no explanation or justifying that. Since then, gone on with friends to start a business, with Amy to raise a family, serving my community in the United States Congress. And in many ways, that mistake did not define me. I was able to go on and do these things. But I know to some degree that's a function of the fact that I'm a white man in this country. I know that if I were African American, if I had been arrested with marijuana, it might be very hard for me to then get a job. I'd have to check a box on an application form. I couldn't finance my student loans. That might very well narrow my choices and options in life, as it does for so many in a country that has the largest prison population on the face of the planet, one that is disproportionately brown and black. I want to make sure that everyone has a second chance. That's a lesson that I take from this, and something that I want to use as motivation to make things better for others who may have made mistakes in their lives.
All right. So I'm from New Orleans, and I lived in Texas for a short amount of time, Atlanta, Texas. So I know what humidity is, and I know what the South is. You've decided to take a road trip to go to every single county. You said 34? How many?
So there's 254 counties of Texas. We've now visited every one of them, had town halls in most of them.
So you decided August was a good time to go take a road trip in a car, not a bus, but you drove.
Right.
And look at you. I mean, so I have a gift for you because, if you're going to do this, all right, stand up.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right.
There we go. How's that?
Yeah, it feels good.
All right, good. And then you've got your advertisement right there. It's fantastic.
What are y'all doing?
All right, everybody. Please remember to vote on November 6th. No matter who it's for, your vote does count. We'll be right back. Our first guest is running to be the next president of the United States. He's the junior senator from New Jersey. Please welcome Senator Cory Booker. I'm so happy to see you again.
It's very good to see you as well. We keep bumping into each other at vegan restaurants.
I know, I know. And I usually don't go that far away, but that's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to remind you, you were here before you became senator, I think. And let's just show everybody how good I am at what I do.
Okay.
And I understand that you turned down, I think President Obama offered you a position and you turned it down to stay where you are, and I think that's admirable. But then when your term is up, you pass the torch to someone else, and then you become senator, and then you become president.
I appreciate you. I appreciate that.
Think about it. I just did get that whole thing. I mean...
You seem to be have the gift of prophecy. Would you like to tell me what I'm going to do with the rest of my life?
Yeah, oh, well, the first one's free. And then you got to pay. But I see good things for you. You're a good guy. You're a smart guy. So, you're running for president, and how do you set yourself apart from all of these people running? Because there are a lot of them your friends.
A lot of great people running. I have a very different pathway. I think we all do. I'm one of those guys that has run to some of our most difficult challenges and was a mayor, had to be a chief executive of a big city at the time, going through a lot of difficulties, but we, and collectively in that community, really turned things around for Newark's fortune. And then my theme. I know there's a lot of folks who want to fight fire with fire. I ran a fire department. I don't think that's a good strategy. I'm appealing to the ideal of reviving civic grace and bringing people together. We have so much common cause in this country, a lot of common pain. And we really need, I think, leaders that are going to call us, not divide us, but call us back to a sense of common purpose.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yes, because there are a lot of people who are angry right now, and the country is very, very divided. And I think we do need to bring everybody together and remind us all that we're, this basically the same inside. We all want the same things. There is no you're wrong and I'm right. But people want, toughness, and you seem really sweet and kind, which is a great thing.
Right.
But when people say you're not tough enough, what do you say about that?
There was an Oscar-nominated documentary that I was in called Street Fight about me coming up through Newark against one of the toughest political machines there are. And we showed that you can fight the toughest of fights and win, but people make this mistake where they confuse being strong with being mean or being tough with being cruel. You don't have to let yourself be pulled down, that you go through, I think, moral vandalism when it comes to your highest ideals. And at a time in this country where we're seeing toxic Twitter trolling and trash talking, I think the best antidote to that, the best thing that's going to win against that, is not fighting darkness with darkness, but is bringing light and decency and grace back to our politics.
Yes. So, speaking of tweets and Twitter, this past weekend, our president, I think, tweeted more in a short amount of time than he's ever tweeted before. I mean, it was an enormous amount of tweets. And some people are saying he's losing his mind, that he's really losing his mind. What do you say about that, and what tweet upset you the most?
Well, look, I think what we say about other people often says more about us than it does to who we're talking about. And that is not just a constitutional position, the chief executive of our country. It's also a moral platform. And at a time that our country needs redeeming in terms of our connections, we have a president that just seems to continue to want to be doing demeaning. And I think you judge a leader not by how much they push people down, but how much they lift people up. And so those tweets, to me, were indicative of a serious problem. And they are, there's a Stanford researcher who has shown that kindness and decency goes viral. That if you do one kind act witnessed by others, it actually moves multiple degrees of separation. It's that this person studies this. Unfortunately, it's the same thing with cruelty. And so what do we want sort of from our highest offices in the lands evidenced? And so when you have a guy who, I knew John McCain. He was one of those people when I first came to the Senate that called me to his office, sat me down and gave me incredible advice, not partisan at all, but calling on me to be a statesman. He said, this Senate has too much particularistic smallness. He said, I want you to be a larger senator, be somebody who sets a tone, sets an energy. It was just a great talk as a guy whose office was like a museum to heroism. I mean, literally, you see his lifeless body being pulled out by, the Vietnamese sent him the picture of him when his plane crashed and he was put into a prison where he was tortured. And to have a president who is a commander-in-chief over so many courageous soldiers that are serving for us, men and women, gay, straight, and transgender, tons of soldiers, to see the way he talks about a war hero who is dead now, to me, that is almost repugnant or unacceptable.
Yeah, it was pretty horrible.
Yes.
It was pretty horrible. And McCain, I agree. We had McCain on the show, and what a great guy he was. I mean, I just met him one time, and we loved him here. He was amazing.
Yeah, look, I disagreed with him a lot, but there was always a sweetness with him.
Yeah.
That when you meet him on the Senate floor, he could be tough with you, but he was one of those guys that for me was a model of what can be.
Yeah, yes, he was. All right, we'll take a break. More with Cory Booker after this. We are back with Senator Cory Booker, who is running.
Can I just thank you? I want to interrupt right now. I think that what you do about, there's a saying I love that you can't lead the people if you don't love the people. And we're talking about politics, but you really are a leader for the spirit of goodness, kindness, and decency. And I want to say this. In this way. I have patriotism is love of country, but you cannot love your country unless you love your fellow countrymen and women. And that love that you give to me is patriotic in a powerful way, and we need more of that spirit. So thank you for listening.
Well, thank you. I understand what you're saying, but I will not be your vice president. I am busy with the show, but thank you. So it came out recently that you're dating Rosario Dawson, right?
Yes.
And so I'm sure that was something that y'all were trying to keep very private. And then she opened her big mouth and she blabbed it. No, I know what happened.
She was visiting me in D.C. and then she left to the airport and she got ambushed at the airport. And
right.
I suddenly get this little video from her saying, "I got TMZ. I don't have makeup on. I this and this and that." But she knew that it was. But it was wonderful and she's just an incredible human being.
Yeah, I think that it's great. I mean, it's wonderful that y'all are dating, and I know it's hard because she's going to be watched and everything that she does, everything you do, people are watching you.
Yeah, and it's as our relationship grows, it's difficult, but she is just a deeply soulful person and has taught me a lot of lessons about love already, and that sometimes you show the greatest strength when you make yourself vulnerable, and she's really has this nurturing spirit that's made me more courageous, not just in the love that I project and want to see in our country, but I think even in our personal relationships to love more fearlessly. So I'm very, very blessed to be with somebody
that really sweet.
Makes me a better person.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
So now that would be an amazing wedding to have in the White House. I mean, if you go in single and then you have a wedding in the White House, I mean, we would watch. That would be like our royal wedding. That would be great.
So you're saying if Rosario and I get there, wait, don't do the marriage before.
For sure, wait and have a big thing and do it. And sweeps, and it would be really important.
Would you help preside over the wedding?
I would do. Yes, I'd be a big part of that.
Is that a promise?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Here's what I want you to promise right now, because you've mentioned this, and I want to know that you really mean it. You said, regardless if you get the nomination, if you don't get the nomination, you're going to make sure a woman gets in the White House one way or another, president or vice president.
We saw, first of all, I wanted there to be a woman president in 2016, and it's unfortunate there wasn't, but look at the people running right now. We have incredibly talented, capable women and men. We have openly gay candidate, black candidates. It's just this incredible diversity. We should be a ticket that reflects the diversity of this country, gender diversity, race diversity, and if I am elected as the nominee, I'm going to make sure there is gender diversity on the ticket.
So there will be a woman vice president. So you're a good politician. You zigzagged.
I'm not trying to zigzagging.
You did not answer my question.
I think I just answered your question.
No, you didn't.
There will be, yes, there will be gender diversity on the ticket.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Good.
And you were saying you're not interested whatsoever.
I'm saying I'm busy.
You're busy. I understand that.
I would never want to be in politics. I don't know what you're thinking.
Well, but I will tell you this. We all are in politics. That space, democracy is not a spectator sport. One of the things we're suffering from, I think, in our country is, the opposite of justice is not injustice. It's often inaction, apathy, and indifference. We have low voter turnouts for a democracy this vibrant. We have politicians that on issues ranging from gun safety to college debt that they aren't doing what the majority of their voters want to do. And so whether you say you're a politician or not, the reality is we all have to get involved in this civic space, especially in a moral moment like this where so much is on the line. I hope all of us view ourselves as agents for this country to make it better and make it a more perfect union.
I agree with you. That's fantastic. All right. We will be right back. Cory Booker, everybody.